Welcome, everyone. If you're a parent, you work incredibly hard for every single baht you earn. But let me ask you a question. Is your money working as hard for your family as you are? Today, we're going to break down how investing is not a gamble. It's actually a powerful step-by-step tool you can use to build a really secure future for the people you care about most. Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to talk about a hidden problem that might be quietly eating away at your savings. Then, we'll get right to the heart of what stocks really are. And I mean really. We'll cover how to pick them like you're buying into a solid business, not just playing a game. And finally, we'll go over the simple, practical steps to get started and leave you with one last important thought for your future. All right, let's dive right in. First things first, we need to talk about this invisible force that's constantly working against the money you've saved up. You might not see it, but trust me, it's there. I mean, have you ever really thought about this? You look at old prices for things and just go, wow, everything was so much cheaper back then. It feels like your money is shrinking over time, doesn't it? Well, there's a very real reason for that. And this is the absolute best way to picture it. That slow, creeping increase in the cost of, well, everything. That's a little thing called inflation. What it means is that the cash you've so carefully put away in a savings account is actually losing its buying power year after year. So to really build wealth for your family, just saving isn't gonna cut it. You have to find a way to grow your money faster than inflation. So, if saving alone isn't the complete answer, then what is? This brings us to our next part. Let's really redefine what a stock is, because it's time we all shifted our thinking away from playing the market and towards something much more powerful, becoming a business owner. Let's just forget all the complicated stuff for a second, the crazy charts and the jargon you hear on the news. At its absolute core, buying a stock is incredibly simple. You are buying a small piece of a real company. That's it. You become a part owner. This coffee shop example is perfect. It's the exact same idea. The only real difference is that instead of a local coffee shop, you're buying a tiny piece of a huge business, like a big airline or a national department store. Companies that are way too big for any of us to start on our own. You get to own a little slice of their success. Now, this slide right here is so important. It highlights a huge difference in approach. See, we're focused on being investors. That means we do our homework, we understand the business, and we buy a piece of it to grow with it over the long term. A speculator or a trader is just betting on which way the price will move tomorrow or next week. That's a totally different game, and it's not what we're talking about when it comes to building a secure future for our families. Okay, so if we're gonna be business owners, how in the world do we choose which businesses to buy a piece of? Let's break down a simple way to think about it. So where do you even start looking? Well, first, you want to find healthy companies. Look for businesses that have been growing their profits consistently. And the best part is, you don't need any secret inside info. All of this is public information, right on the Stock Exchange of Thailand's website. Look back at how they've done over the last 3 to 5 years. A solid track record is usually a pretty good sign. And now, for what is maybe the most important rule of all, you have to diversify. You've heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? It's true. Even if you find a company you absolutely love, anything can happen. By spreading your money across 4 or 5 different solid companies, you build a safety net. So if one of them has a tough year, the others can help balance it out and keep your family's savings growing. I absolutely love this quote because it perfectly explains the power of being patient. See, in the short term, the stock market is basically a popularity contest. It's all about hype and what's in the news that day. But over the long run, it becomes a weighing machine. The real fundamental value of the business, its profits, its health, that's what really matters in the end. Our job as investors is to focus on the weight, not the vote. Okay, I can almost hear you thinking, this all sounds good, but how do I actually do this? What's the first step? Well, let's walk right through it because honestly, it's so much easier than it used to be. Yeah, just get that old image out of your head. The one from the movies with traders yelling and throwing papers everywhere. Those days are pretty much over for us regular folks. Today, everything you need to become an investor is right in the palm of your hand, on your phone or your computer. The process itself is surprisingly simple. First, you pick a broker. That's just the company that will handle the trades for you. Most of the big banks have them. Then you open an account, which you can almost always do completely online. After that, you just transfer some money in and use their app to buy shares in those great companies you researched. And hey, here's a pro tip. Set up a small automatic transfer every month. It's the easiest way to build your investments over time without even thinking about it. All right, we've covered a lot of ground. We talked about the why, the what, and the how. So now let's just bring it all home with the single most important idea to take away from all this. If you remember just one thing, let it be this. Investing is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is simply about changing where you store your hard-earned money. Instead of leaving it in an account where inflation slowly eats it away, you're putting it to work alongside great, growing companies. It's about finally making your money work as hard for your family's future as you do. So let's end on this one important question. One day, we all hope to be able to stop working. The only question is, will we be ready when that day comes? The preparation you do now, the homework you put in today, that's a gift you're giving to your future self and to your family. If you want to keep learning, I really recommend checking out Money Buffalo or the Stock Exchange of Thailand's website. Thanks so much for joining me.